Hey y'all, it's rolling. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, you wanted me to do the intro. You wrote that also, so it's not blah, blah, blah. Hey y'all, it's time for rolling dice and taking names. In this episode, the guys review Time of Empires and Basilica. I will join Marty to talk about fun facts and Ready, Set, Bet. Then my brother Bob joins Marty for a non-spoiler review of the Arkham Horror card game campaign, Edge of the Earth. Blah, blah, blah.
Hello and welcome to episode 275 of Rolling Dice and Taking Names, which is the last episode of our 9th year. Time is on my side. Yes, it is. My name is Marty.
And I'm Tony. Are you sure? I thought this was our 10th year. Oh, we do this discussion all the time.
We started in 2012.
Right.
So our end of our first year ended in 2013.
So this isn't so next year's our 10th year, so we don't have to worry about a big 10-year celebration until the end? Or do you always start off 10 year with a big bang? Here we go into our 10th year.
That, my friend, is a great question. Wait, shoot. Now you got me thinking about it. So we started our we're starting our 10th year next episode.
Right. So you celebrate the start of the 10th year.
Correct.
So
yes. So because when you celebrate your 1 year birthday, you're celebrating the first day that you turn 1. So yeah, we're celebrating the first day we turn 10.
So when you have an anniversary, you're celebrating how many years you have been together.
Correct.
You don't celebrate, hey, I've made it through 30 and now I'm starting 31. I've made it up to 30 years for an anniversary or whatever.
Yes, but that was your 30th. Now you're working. The next year, that was your 30th. Man, I don't know. You know, I thought this was going to be a short intro, but now it's all of a sudden gotten really deep.
Well, I do not celebrate these things. And that's one thing that drives my wife crazy is I don't do birthdays. I don't do anniversaries. I call them all Hallmark holidays because, hey, you made it around the sun one more time. Congratulations. Let's move on. Okay? That's how I feel about these things.
And to anybody who's been listening for several years, his attitude is no surprise at all. That's why he gets the name Grumpy Tony.
That's it. And when it comes to the anniversary, hey, we've been married for 30 plus years. Guess what? What's another year? It's just another year.
I'm sure that floats over really well with Donna.
Oh, it's taken her 30 years to figure it out. You darn right it does. When you get married during a leap year, and you always have the discussion, the only ones you celebrate is the 29th. That's when you do the big celebration. And I know that. But I don't say, let's not do the 30 years. Because now we're going into year 30. So we did celebrate our 30th year this past year. So you should be coming up on your 30th next year.
Correct. In April, we'll be celebrating our 30th. Right.
All right. So now that we've put that to bed, what are we going to talk about today?
I don't know. What you want to talk about?
Well, I know one thing.
What's
Next
that?
time you bring out your camera and vlog our game night, we may have to have a talk again.
People are enjoying it. Look, all right. So why am I doing this? Number one, I don't know. It's kind of fun. It's a fun way to we don't do a lot of videos. I think it's fun to put the clips together and put music with them and stuff like that and tell a little story. So I'm just having fun with it, and you just happen to be there as I'm doing this.
This is true. I will say I am just there.
But it is kind of cool to just talk about just quick hits of some of the games that we played.
Mm-hmm. And let people see that we actually do play them, and we just don't pretend to play them. We actually do play them.
Exactly.
They can see time pass through your vlogs. They can see it's light outside and then it gets dark.
Right. Time is passing by.
Because it is on our side.
Yes, it is.
And, I'm fine with you doing those. I mean, here I am. And there was no setup for me on the last one you did, me walking out of GameStop as you walk up. That was not set up or anything.
Yeah, I was
just
trying to get B-roll of the GameStop sign, and then you walk out. It's like, oh, that's kind of perfect.
Oh yeah, and I still haven't done my credit for that. So I need to put my credit in the Switch So you know what's going on.
I always do that because I'm afraid I'm going to lose the receipt. So my method is I will go to GameStop, get the receipt, go back to McAllister's, turn on the switch right there and enter in the code.
I don't have mine with me, so I have to wait till I get home and hope I don't lose it. See, but I've yet to lose one, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm debating. I'm going on vacation and I'm going to be on a very long flight. I'm debating whether or not to take the Switch because it's so bulky.
Well, let's pull back the curtain. By the time this episode comes out, which is 3 weeks from now, you will have come back from the vacation. But as you're getting ready to go on the vacation that you just got back from, why wouldn't you take your Switch? Heck yes, I'd take my Switch.
It's bulky. It's hard to manage. I got to minimize with all the issues that are going on with luggage and things like that and my carry-on. I don't know. It's just something to lose, I think. And that's how
So what else would you take a book? It's the same size as a book?
No, I'll take my iPad, which I know is probably more, as valuable as the Switch, but at least it's thinner, easier to transport. I'm able to download movies to it. So
gotcha.
I think that's where I'm heading out on the trip, figure out what I am going to do with that good, fun stuff. Oh, I hate trips. I hate the anxiety. We talked about this. Oh, there's so much anxiety.
Oh, I hate them too. Vanessa loves them. It's like, nope, I'd rather just stay. Once I get there, it's cool. It's just the point A to point B stuff that I just don't care for.
Mm. And it's one thing to do a trip in the U.S., but to travel overseas, and I can understand Ignacy feeling this way about traveling overseas and the stress that's associated with it, because I will be, traveling overseas, and it's just one of those things I'm like, oh man, and nothing wrong. It's my own fault for not speaking the various languages and things like that. It just adds a lot more stress to it. The currency, credit cards.
Yep.
Oh man.
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely more stressful when you do stuff like that.
I'm just waiting to be crammed into those little airplane seats for 9 hours. I'm so looking forward to that. You want to see Grumpy? Watch me get off that flight. I should have Donna film that. After a red eye, Grumpy, all that good stuff.
Oh, we'd love to see that.
No, you wouldn't. It'd be like filming me at McAllister's for game night. Now, I will have to say that I got going overseas, talked about Ignacy. Recently, Donna and I got to play Ticket to Ride Poland. Now,
yeah. So I'm very interested in this because I know there's a lot of maps that come out from Days of Wonder. I'm always curious, is it just Ticket to Ride with a different map or is it a different game?
It of course depends on the map. Like the French and the Old West were completely different. Mm-hmm. And then with Ticket to Ride Poland. So now when was the last time you played Ticket to Ride?
Years. I don't even remember. Yeah, it's been years.
It's one of the games we always play every year. We play it multiple times. It's like Carcassonne. She loves it. She loves playing it. But one of the worst things about Ticket to Ride is it is the same thing over and over of collecting cards, suddenly doing a whole bunch of tracks, complete your tickets, that kind of way, because we do not play vindictive.
Right.
I don't block people, things like that. And when you're playing with just two people, multiple tracks, you can only use one of them.
Okay.
The big deal with Ticket to Ride Poland was, I don't know if it was fan created or something, but it finally has come over here as one of the maps. And first thing is, I'm laying out the board, and I swear, and I put this on, I don't know if Twitter is still around when this show comes out. We'll see what happens with
Twitter. Will still be around when the sky is not falling on Twitter. I'm sorry.
I know it's not. So I was sitting there, I was looking at the names on the map, and I'm like, Ignacy it was in my head. He was sitting there thinking, no, that's not how you say it. No, that's not how you say it. The whole time.
I'm in people's wallet. Ignacy's in your head.
Yeah, he's telling me I'm saying it wrong. The big difference is with this one is when you complete routes from a country to another country, say Germany to the Ukraine. You collect the tickets that are not tickets, but let's call them tickets. They're destinations and they're victory points. So there's a stack of victory points at each of these countries.
Okay.
Germany, Ukraine, Russia, and I can't remember them all, but there's various tickets there, and those are victory points at the end of the game that you can add. So by completing a route across Poland to these countries, you will collect those. First one there gets the top victory points.
Okay. Yep.
That you'll add up at the end. So it's not in place of the destination tickets. It just adds a little bit to it. And the other big thing about this map is it is fast, 35 trains. You are playing very fast, and you've got to be on top of it because the game's going to end before you know it. There's not these huge routes or anything like that. Short routes, easy to block people. I really enjoyed it, and Donna enjoyed it because we were done in under 20 minutes, and it was a very tight game. And she liked the fact that if you complete destination, say I now add Russia to my route, then as soon as I complete the Germany to Russia to Ukraine, even though I'd already collected Russia and Ukraine, I can then pick up those tickets again because I've now added a destination to it. Mm-hmm. So very interesting, very unique way to score points at the end. But once again, it came down to destination tickets, but be very careful because the game will end very quickly. I enjoyed it. She enjoyed it, so I think it doesn't beat the 2-player map of Switzerland, but I do enjoy it. I think it would be right in there if it's just me and her playing.
So maybe I missed it. Is it just 2-player?
No, you can have up to 4 people.
Okay. And you said, so it's called Poland, but there's still other countries involved.
Yes, your rail network is Poland.
Okay. So it's not going from city to cities in Poland. It's going to other countries from Poland.
And there's also cities in Poland. So you're building the rail network, but by connecting the various countries that border Poland, you are getting points as well.
Well, it sounds like this is even more of an entry level than the full Ticket to Ride because it's less trains, shorter play time.
Yeah. The only thing that's going to throw off people when they go to the other Ticket to Ride is they're going to be like, okay, what happened to getting the tickets for completing country to country? Well, they're gone, but now you have longest route and person who completes the most destination. Those are removed out of that map. I'm glad we got it. I was looking forward to playing this. It's been out a while. First time I think US has been able to get it.
Oh, wow. On Miniature Market, it's $19.99.
Yeah.
That's really good. Oh, hold on. That says map collection. Does this include trains?
No, you have to have the trains.
Oh, so you need the base game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't understand.
All the maps you need the base game.
I didn't understand that. So this is add on to the base, not a standalone game. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, if you have the original or Europe, this is just to add on like any of the other maps.
Yep.
Like I said, it's one of those I'll be interested to play with 4. I've got my daughter and her future husband coming into town, so we may put that on the table. It's his choice. He gets to always choose the games. But speaking of routes.
Yeah.
We got to play another little game from Yellow. I always want to call him ILO, but Yellow. Mm-hmm. And this is it's not a flip and write. You're not, well, you are writing.
You are writing.
But so this is Get On Board. And it is from, I don't know if I'm going to say this correct. Sashi.
It's like a one-word name, SAASHI. Yeah.
And you are trying to complete a bus route, depending on the number of players, either in New York or London. And by completing these bus routes, you'll be picking up passengers. You have grandmas, you have university students, you have businessmen, you have tourists. Or on everybody's turn, because it's simultaneous play, a card will be flipped over that has a color to it. And on your sheet of paper, it tells you what route you have to draw. Maybe it's a straight route of 3 streets. Or maybe it's a route that has 2 streets, but you got to turn either left or right, however it is. And my sheet is different than Marty's based on the color. They're all different.
And you look at the top of your player sheet, and it dictates when this color comes up on the card, this is the route that you must place on the central board in the middle of the table using your little wooden rods that you place down to track your routes.
And as you collect these people, you mark them off on your sheet. If you I don't want to say run over grandma, but if your route takes you to a grandma circle, then you mark grandma on the score sheet.
On your personal sheet. So this is where the right part comes in.
If you see a university student on your route, you mark them off. And lo and behold, based on the various scoring for the people you pick up, whoever has the most points at the end wins the game. There is a couple of situations where, one, you cannot have your route go back into yourself. You can't do what was Tron, the light cycles.
Right. Yeah, the light cycles. Yeah.
you blow up the bus. The bus can't back up on itself. And there are various areas, depending on the map or your other players, that if you go across someone else's route, go beside it, which is allowed, you encounter traffic, and that's negative points. So there's the interaction with the game. You have your own special objective to complete a certain route that goes from this point to that point to this other point. You got to hit 3 of them, which, as you found out, was a little bit more complex than you thought it would be.
Yep, it was. It was because when you start running into other people or trying to avoid other people, or let's say you're looking at your score sheet, and usually most of these score sheets, it's sectioned off on the sheet by the people that you pick up. And like, for example, you're trying to get office men to buildings, to their business building. And if you complete a row of like office men, you get like a bonus at the end. And each, again, like Tony said, each of these bonuses per person score differently, but you're trying to complete rows of each of these different types of people to activate that bonus. And then you're trying to, in roll and write fashion, you're trying to create these little combos.
With the tourists, for instance, if you pick up 2 tourists and then you hit a tourist spot, you'll get a certain amount of points. But let's say you only have 1 tourist on the bus and your route hits that spot, then that row's complete. You have to go to the next row when you pick up another tourist. So you have to really think ahead from your planning, because you don't have that opportunity to keep adding tourists. Because as soon as you hit one of these spots or the business hits his office, that row's complete and you score that row right then.
Mm-hmm. And these secret objectives that you get kind of show you, hey, you need to have a route going from point A to point B. And if you do, you'll get some bonus points at the end. So that's also something you're trying to work on that people may not realize what you're trying to do.
The good thing about this is, let's say your route is going to create when the card flips over and you do not want to take 3 straight shots, because that's what it tells you need to do. You can also mark off a spot and you can take a turn, make your route go place down 2 and then turn right. You take that, that's going to be negative points as well. So for everybody, it's kind of like manipulating dice. This is how you would manipulate your route based on the card that comes up.
And so what you're going to do is you have this deck of cards and you're going to play through 12 cards. And at the end, that's the end of the round after the 12th card's been played.
Fast, furious.
Yeah, 30 minutes.
Fast and furious.
30 minutes, something like that. Because everybody, again, people are playing pretty much simultaneously.
And they're not doing the same routes when the ticket's over. So that comes into play as well. So, and you've got to look at how many cards, which cards are left or colors are left, that will help you decide, okay, if this comes up, then I know I will need to be doing the following things to be able to pick up these university students. And there's also these special areas that that increase your score at the end. So you have to play that in mind. Real fast playing game, simple, flipping right.
Yeah, it is. But what I like is it adds that there's an element, there's a board in the middle of the table that you're also interacting with too. So it's not necessarily just solitaire where you're marking stuff off on your own sheet. There is interaction, because if I see, you said the most you can have on a road 2 tracks, right? And if there's 2 tracks there, you have to find another route around.
No, you can have as many people, but it's traffic.
Okay.
It creates negative points for you later.
All right. So that's what it is. So you're trying to avoid traffic, because every time you go down a road that somebody's already gone down, you have to mark off the negative points on your at the bottom of your sheet. But then also you're trying to make sure that you don't wrap back on yourself. And I almost didn't. I had to give up some of my scoring because I created a situation where, to get back to where I needed to, I was not going to have an exit out of there. So I just had to, well, I guess Grandma is going to have to ride the bus for a bit. She ain't getting off.
Also, there's these 2 objectives that are shown for everybody. Like if I pick up 5 grandmas first, I'm going to get 10 points. You would get the other amount if you were to achieve the objective second. So there are those 2 objectives. And then, of course, the London map, it's a lot larger so that 4 people can play and place out their routes. So it's definitely different. And I think the biggest thing is the fact that you're interacting with each other on a board.
Yeah. And it's basically, it's pick up and deliver, plus just route building.
So from a flipping right standpoint, like Welcome To, which is everybody knows about Welcome To, the map in the middle is what's going to make it different for you if you're looking for a different game like that.
So that is Get On Board from Yellow Games. Every so often we bring a game to McAllister's that is pretty much a table hog. Which this next game that we're getting ready to talk about that is sponsored, the segment sponsored by Game Toppers. This is where a Game Topper comes in handy because Time of Empires took up a lot of space on this table. And even though we had the nice Game Toppers mat out on the table, we physically needed a tad wider table to pull this off. And that's what's nice thing about the Game Topper components or the tables themselves is you can get a various different types of sizes for whatever you need. Is you can just like get a perfect square, a little bit longer, a little bit more narrow. But the nice thing about it is probably whichever size that you get will probably hold Time of Empire. Well, the smallest one may not hold Time of Empire, so you'll need to go one bigger than that. But we had the nice little play mat on our table. We were a little bit beyond that play mat, which is fine. We just didn't realize how much table space it was going to take. But if you do have some table hog games and you're looking for some nice mats or tables to put those on, make sure to go check out GameToppersLLC.com.
Another thing that would have been very helpful if we had that Game Toppers, especially for this game, is pieces were flying because we were bumping arms, hitting elbows, as you will hear when we talk about this game. So the rails on the Game Topper would have been very nice, kept everything on the table from hitting the floor, having to pick that up, because that was definitely needed for the game that we're getting ready to talk about, Time of Empire.
Yeah, this game is from Pearl Games. And you may go, wait, Pearl Games? What else do they make? How about Trois, La Granja, Black Angel, which we recently talked about?
Oh, yeah, Black Angel. Oh, okay.
Is it Deus, Deus, which I played before and really liked. This game is designed by David Simayand and Pierre Voyer. Typically, when I hear real-time games with sand timers, it's usually a turnoff for me because I've yet to play one that really works for me. But I was interested in this one because it's a Civ-style game, and I typically like Civ-style games. And the whole mechanic is that simultaneously, each age, you're placing these sand timers out on actions on your board or the central board and taking that action. And you cannot take another action until the sand timer is expired and you can pick it up and move it to another action. Everybody has 2 sand timers that they're going to be working with over the course of the age. And the nice thing is the age is limited to 9 minutes. So lots of times Civ-style games can run long because there's a lot of AP. Well, when you're timed to only 9 minutes per age, you better not have too much AP or you're going to get behind. But that was kind of the whole gist of it, Tony. Have all these actions on the board, place a sand timer, take an action, and well, the whole goal is typically going to get victory points. And in Civ-style game is you're going to be creating technologies, putting buildings out on your board. You're going to be expanding your empire, maybe doing a little bit of combat. There's some area control. And all those different types of things will create victory points for you.
And in like Civilization, it takes a little bit to get going. You know, it took man a while before he got the wheel. And then once he got the wheel, he was able to do other things. Once he discovered how to make bricks, he was able to build some houses. Once he had a brilliant idea, he was able to invent stuff. And that's exactly how I felt in this game. It was a progression through the various eras. And I'm like, okay, I'm feeling the theme here, you know?
Mm-hmm.
In the first part of the game, we were sitting there with our timers, or actually you have that capability of not using the timers to get the feel of the game.
Yeah, so we played the first stage. You said there's a variant for your first game. Play where each of you take a turn, and you play through like 15 turns. But that way, each of you can take a turn at a time to make sure everybody understands how the different actions work. And then we turned on the clock for the second and third ages.
Mm-hmm. So we're sitting there developing the resources, being able to pay for our cards to get them onto the board that helps us continue to advance our civilization. Because like any game with a technology tree, you're going to sit there and you're going to want to unlock spots. For me, the game really centered around the map.
So this is what's really cool too, is there's a map in the center of the table. Depending on the number of players, it'll tell you how to put that map together. I did say in the show notes, Tony, setup can take quite a while. It is a table hog. One of the things is making sure you have the map set up correctly, make sure everything's oriented correctly. And then everybody has a capital that they're going to start as. Everybody has a certain color, and you have a starting capital that you're going to be able to put your population discs on and expand from there. But the main gameplay takes place in that central board, that central map.
So you're sitting there as you're watching this board. You're like, okay, for me to be able to do certain things and uncover my technology, I have to expand so that I can build certain buildings out on the board. I really appreciated these cards that allowed me to build the buildings. First, I had to play the idea, and it gave me something.
Well,
and later...
Oh, hold on. How do you get the cards, though?
Well, I had to put my timer over there to the technology.
Yeah, so that's one of the central boards. Everybody had access to these technology cards, and there was a deck for age 1, age 2, and A3. Just put your sand timer out there, take that top card, and it goes into your hand. So then proceed. Then you got to play that card to your board.
Right, I got to have an idea, but by the way, that's a blind draw. The best part of that card is the 3 types of cards there are that will give you either maybe basic resources or advance your civilization through warfare. Seems like every time I was drawing a card, I was going to go kill somebody with it.
But even though it's a blind draw, the back of the card does show you the type of building that you can build with it, which is important.
So as you build that building, it unlocks the various capabilities. So in order to play that card, you have to have an idea.
And you keep saying idea. There's actual resource tokens that are ideas. They're light bulbs.
They're light bulbs. You got to have an idea.
Well, I understand that,
maybe
but
3.
I just want to explain that idea is an actual resource that you accumulate and spend.
Yeah, you may have a light bulb on your card, so it wasn't a great idea. Or there may be 2. It was a better idea. And 3, it was an amazing idea. And generally, the more light bulbs that are needed, the better the resource you're going to get, or the action that you will have on that card that you can take. After you've done that, you can then... Now, Key, did you mention that you cannot put your timer back on the same spot?
I did not mention that. You must move your timer to a new spot. But there's nothing stopping you from taking another timer that's expired and replacing it with that one. You just can't pick up the same one and put it down on the same spot again.
Right. So while you're sitting there competing with one another for the general central spots, you always have your board that you have to manage as well.
Yeah, and one of the actions on your board is to play that idea card from your hand, pay those resources, and get it. And in the same spot, you can put one of your timers there to build the building that's on that card, pay the resources in brick to build the building. And when you remove a building off your board, there's 4 different types of buildings. And when you remove it, it unlocks something else for you. Then that technology is discarded to be ready for a new one to come into play later on.
And I really like this about the game from the standpoint of the resources I'm collecting. I'm not having to collect a whole bunch of resources. Just 2. I got to have an idea, and I got to be able to make bricks. In order to build that building, like you said, I got to put it on that one spot on the board, put that out there on the map. So it is now out there for me. It's part of my province. It's part of my civilization.
And the only requirement of putting it on the map is that you must occupy that map with another of your buildings or one of your population discs.
And it's important to get those population, which is another action you can take. You can put your timer there, and suddenly you got a little population going. It took a little while, 30 seconds according to the timer, but you put that out there, you may now take a population disc based on how much you've uncovered on your board, and it can go to your capital city or a city you already have, and you may place up to 4 in that location.
So when you have to move into a city and you control that city, then you can put population there. So that's how you expand out from your capital. And in that same spot, you can put a timer to actually move your population around the board. And that's how you expand to new areas.
The other 2 are about generating resources, the ideas in the brick on your board. One of them, you don't put your timer there. It's your cultural. So
it's
how good you feel.
We didn't even mention this. So there's an app that you can download for iOS or Android that will help you walk you through this stuff. And I do recommend the app because it's I don't know, Tony, that it's really needed, but if you're not using it, somebody needs to monitor that timer because at the 3 and 6 minute mark within the ages, the game stops. That's when you're going to be able to generate your scholars that you can use during the age. And your scholars will go out to either one, influence leaders, which are these cards on a board. And when you influence a leader, there's a little action at the bottom you immediately get to take, like maybe it's get a free move or something like that. Or you can help build wonders, which is another board. And at the end of the age, you look at each of the leaders, and whoever influenced that leader card the most gets that leader card and puts it in front of them in play. It's a permanent ability that they get. Or if you had the most influence or contributed the most to building a wonder, what that's going to do is generate some victory points for you. But that only happens at 2 points during an age. That's when you generate the scholars, then you can use those scholars throughout the rest of the age.
And this is very important, especially later in the game. The scholars and the population disc are the same.
Mm-hmm.
If you're wanting to expand your empire and you have a whole bunch of scholars, then you have really hurt yourself.
Yep.
And vice versa. If you need to influence a leader because that ability that leader may give you at the end of the round that you want into your hand, you better have the scholars out there. And there's no way to generate scholars until that timing goes off. So in your head, while this game is going on, hurry up scholars, when am I going to have some more? How do I place this? Because everybody's going there. And in order to win that leader, whoever has the most influence will get the scholar, and whoever is the lowest on the stack will get that scholar.
Breaks
so
ties.
If there's a tie, that breaks ties.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, of course, I don't know if there was a way to break ties outside of that. I can't remember.
I mean, there's no need to. It's just whoever's lowest in the tied position on the stack gets it.
Yeah, I don't know if there was any leaders or anything that said, "Oh, now you get to break all ties." You know how you always.
Oh no, there was, because I was going for that one. Yeah, there was one that says, "Oh, now you break ties, forget position on the place."
Mm-hmm. And then for the wonders, it's a calculation of, did I influence the wonder? Do I want 2 victory points or 1 victory point?
Yeah. Everybody gets something from it. It's just whoever contributed the most will get 2 victory points as opposed to the 1. It's 2 victory points per something.
Another thing I really enjoyed about this game was the attacking of one another. You move into a region with someone else. It's not rolling dice. It's not hard calculations. It's not playing a bunch of cards to adjust strengths or numbers or anything like that. It is simply 2 move in and 2 people are there. Both of them are wiped out.
Well, you move in, and however many number you move in, that's how many you knock out of the opponent. And how many ever of their pieces are removed, they knock that many out of your stack.
Say that again. Let's make sure we did this right.
All right. So let's say I move 3 in to a spot and to your 2. I would knock out up to 3 of your units.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to knock out your 2. Your 2 will be removed. In return, those 2 are going to knock out 2 of my units, leaving me just 1 unit in the spot. Yeah.
Right.
And that's basically how you, one, can take out somebody else and get in there, which is important because at the end of the age, if you're in a place where somebody else has their buildings, you blow their buildings up, which I like.
You ransack them.
That's right.
You ransack every building's worth 3 victory points.
That's right. At the end of the age, you ransack buildings where you have your some of your population and there's somebody else's buildings, and you collect those buildings onto your board. They're worth 3 points at the end of every age.
Mm-hmm.
But here's another reason why you want to attack, Tony. Remember earlier on you said, crap, I really need a way to get more scholars? Go in, attack somebody, knowing that they're going to come back to your general population, and then you can use those for scholars when the timer goes off. Right. I was doing that. I was sacrificing some of my troops or population to get them back into my general supply so I could have scholars made later on.
And see, my strategy was just the opposite. I wasn't worried so much about the scholars and going over and influencing the leaders as it was trying to expand or protect my borders. Because some of our cards required victory points based on the number of territories we controlled.
And so all this is happening simultaneously. So 4 people are sitting around the table moving their sand timers all around the board.
And suddenly people are moving in, and suddenly your population is coming flying back.
It's like, what's going on? Because whoever does the attacking just resolves the battle. They don't tell you something. We might say, by the way, I'm attacking you, and that's why they're handing you back your pieces. So here's where the thing with real time is, Tony, right? You could easily mess up. I'm not going to say cheat because nobody was going to try cheat, but you can easily mess up. You can accidentally pick up a timer that maybe wasn't expired or not do a... Well, the combat is so easy, you probably didn't screw that up because that's really easy to do. You can accidentally maybe knock over somebody else's timer and then not realize it or something like that. You just got to be as honest as you can as you play through a round.
Well, you talked about 3 moving in. Well, how did you do that? I had 2. There were limits based on the territory, unless cards gave you the ability to have more than the limit that was allowed into the territory. And you're like, well, how did you take that over? I had 2. Well, I brought in 3. How did you bring in 3? Because I had a card that allowed me to do that. Or wait, one of the things you also have to do with this military is I know I'm going to lose that battle, but I'm setting up for the second attack. So you have to do that. I had some cards that allowed me, if I was in the city, that if I controlled the city and I played this card, I could wipe out other people's buildings. And I did that. And Bert was like, what the heck happened to my buildings? I'm like, well, my catapult took you out and now they're on my board. Well, I didn't see you do that. Can't help you.
and that's the part where things are happening to you that you may not realize. You may think that you're safe over somewhere because you've done something, and all of a sudden you look, it's like, oh, all my things are gone. Now, the nice thing is, Tony, if your buildings get destroyed, well, the nice thing is if your buildings get destroyed, they don't go back to your board. So if you've, like I said, they go to the opponent's board because you don't want them to go back to your board because you've already unlocked the bonuses of either generating extra resources, extra bricks, extra scholars, depending on the type of building that you built.
Right. All right. Enjoyed it.
Yeah. One last thing. Let's one thing.
Yeah.
At the end of an age, you talked about you ransacked the buildings. You also may be able to score points. Some of the buildings, the more that you unlocked, they may generate some points for you at the end of the round. You get your leader cards. You score your wonder cards. You actually look at sieging cities. If you're in a territory, the cities are right in the middle of a 3-hex piece. And if you have more pieces there than anybody else and there's nobody in the city, you actually get to claim that city. And then basically you start the clock and go again. The app is super, super nice because when you start the timer, I like this, Tony, you don't know how long you got. It's like, because you're going along, they're playing some nice music, and all of a sudden you hear, is it a baby crying or something like that? That indicates, okay, generate your scholars. And then all of a sudden this says, okay, age is over. And you're getting ready to play several times. I was getting ready to place my sand timer to take a very important action, and then the age ended. It's like, oh, well, I guess I don't get to do that. And then it walks. What's nice is, too, is the app walks you through the scoring. Right in the app, you enter the score that everybody does for that age.
So, yeah, the gong ends the age. You hear the gong. So I will ding the app for one thing.
Okay.
There's no back. So as I'm scoring us, there was no way for me to go back and correct something.
Oh.
Well, take that back. There was that back. There was somewhere in the app I couldn't go back.
Okay.
It was kind of irritating. And I'm like, okay, I need to go back. No, you got to restart the game. And I forget where that was, but I'm sure as they continue to release it. So overall, for me, this game is, other than the fact that it is a fairly long teach, not to the person who taught this issue. It was a long teach. There's no other way to do it.
It was a long teach because there's a lot of actions. There's like 5 or 6 actions on your board, plus another 4 or 5 out on the central board that has to be explained. It's not that the actions are complicated. People just know how each of them work.
And understand the stacking of the pieces and understand how the majority works and how to get the leaders and what's going to happen at the end of the round, so forth. The game itself, if the 4 of us play it again, it'll be done. We could play this game 4 times in an hour after the setup.
4 times? Well, no. Each age is 9 minutes. So that's 27 minutes of
actual... Don't make me use math. Okay, 2 times. Fine.
Yeah. Well, no, because the scoring at the most 3 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes for the scoring at the end of each age. So literally once you're set up, after the long set, once you're set up, we could easily play this game in 45 minutes. Easily.
Yeah.
But what's nice is that it gives you that Civ feeling it does feel like a Civilization style game, but it doesn't overstay its welcome because it's timed. It can't, you know? And 9 minutes flies by way quicker than what you think it's going to because you're constantly trying to do things in a flurry in order to get stuff done.
Enjoyed it. Would like to see more of the cards, like to see how they impact. Definitely replayability here based on the leaders that show up, based on the various cards that you would be drawing during your turn. Also, and the maps are static and depending on the number of players.
Mm-hmm.
So that is what it is. And from the standpoint as, is there a definite win condition? No, because the cards, the wonders, the leaders will always impact how that does and what you want to do. I do want to be more aggressive the next time I play. I want to try to expand quicker, try to create more influence from that standpoint. And that's just to push another lever in the game.
Yeah. And for me I really like Civ games. I mean, is this better than Clash of Cultures? No, that does not give me the experience. But Clash of Cultures is a long Civ style game that I know exactly what to expect. And like I said, those are hard to get to the table and they're very long to play. So if I want a Civ feel style game, I could do this. Like we talked about Terra Nova earlier. I never get Terra Mystica to the table, but if I want the feel of Terra Mystica, I could play Terra Nova. And that's what I feel about this. This is a small nitpick. I don't understand the reason why they had the size of the box that they did. It's very long and more narrow, and it won't fit in my game bag.
Okay. Well, Black Angel was that way, and it didn't need to be that way. Maybe they just have a special purchasing on that.
And that's the same company that made Black Angel.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a silly nitpick, but I literally couldn't get it in my bag. I wish it was more the standard size. So Time of Empires. I'll keep it on my shelf because if I want to play a quick Civ game, this would be it for me. Tony, I think you initially didn't seem to care for it too much. Have you just warmed up to it over the last few days?
It wasn't that I didn't particularly care. It was just the fact that any game that it takes us that long to teach.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, what was the one we played over at the BBQ, the Alien game? I'm just like, oh my gosh.
But
I understand the reason for it.
Yeah. But here's the thing is, if we waited 6 months and played it again, the teach would be shorter because it would come back to you real quick. Because you know how to read the icons and we know how it kind of flows. And if we were to set it up right now, we wouldn't even have to reteach the rules. We would just get started.
Yeah. And the war was probably the most complicated thing on some of the texts or some of the readings of the rule. You can't do this or that. And we were like, what? But we finally understood where they were going. Plays fast, plays quick. Yeah, no, I enjoy playing it again.
You know how I always mention you need to go to shopportalgames.com and check out all their latest releases and pre-order and everything like that? Well, get this. Ignacio reached out to us and said, hey, guys, sometimes you give out discount codes for other places and use code RDTN, and if you put that in, you get some sort of discount. I said, well, yes, Ignacio, I do. He said, all right, I would like to try that over at shopportalgames.com. He said, I'm going to put in a code for RDTN, and anybody that uses it gets 20% off their order. I thought, well, that's really cool. I said, what happens if something's like already on sale? Because some of your games right now, some of your base games are like up to 20% off already. He said, it may work. I don't know. So I tested it out. Get this, y'all. Gutenberg is regularly $70. He has a discount on there of $52.50. So I threw that in my cart. Gutenberg is the game that just came out over the summertime. It was hot, sold out at Gen Con. Everybody loves it, including us. Another game that came out this year is Batman Everybody Lies. It's regularly priced $50. Over at shopportalgames.com, it's on sale for $37.50, so I threw that in my cart. Then I went to the discount code and I put in RDTN, applied, and boom, sure enough, 20% came off the entire thing. So Gutenberg went from $52.50 down to $42. Batman Everybody Lies went from $37.50 to $30. And the total price of that is $70.68. Why is that significant? Because any order over $75 at shopportalgames.com gets to ship for free. So both of those games for just $76 shipped straight to your door using discount code RDTN. Now you may be wondering, it's like, oh, wait a minute, I'll just go to Amazon, order Gutenberg. Well, you could, but you're going to pay $66 and not $42. And I believe that $42 is better than $66. Now, here's the thing. I have a feeling that Ignacio's doing this because he wants to see if actually anybody listens to the show. And so if nobody uses the code, then he knows, all right, why am I working with these guys? They're not bringing me anything. So here's what I need you to do. Head over to shopportalgames.com. Use the code, y'all. 20% off everything there, including pre-orders and items that are already on sale. Order over $75 worth and get free shipping. That is amazing. 20% off using code RDTN, shopportalgames.com. Let's show Ignacio that actually somebody listens.
So as you saw from the vlog, sometimes Marty and I get to enjoy 2-player games while we wait on others to show up at McAllister's. So this past time, we got to enjoy the game that Portal Games, Ignacio has brought back from 2010. He's bringing it out. I think it's coming out at the end of this year, first of next year for those of us.
No, it's out here now.
Is it?
Yep.
So I can go over to Miniature Market and pre-order that?
Yep, sure can for $28.
$28. The only reason why it caused me some confusion is on my BGG information, it says pre-order.
As the time of this recording, it should be coming out any day now, and it should be out by the time this recording drops.
The designer is Lucas M. Pagoda. 2-player game. Let's get to it. You're placing some tiles. You're trying to get area control so that you can score some points when the queen comes to look at the church you're building. The queen is moving over time based on the crowns that are showing up on these tiles. So whoever has this area will get points based on that, based on the colors they're controlling. You're battling with one another on area control. On your turn, you're going to take 3 actions. One action is place a vault into the Basilica. Real simple. Take a tile, place it down there, meet the requirements of placing the tile. You can only have it 5 wide, and it must be adjacent to another tile. Once you place that tile, you may place a builder out that gives you the ability to be in control of that area. That builder is working on his vault. If you want to place a builder out, you must always follow placing the tile action. You cannot do an order and then place a builder. This is very important. Or on the other side of the tile, there's a thing called an order, and it allows you to do a special action, such as remove a builder from the board, one of your own builders, or possibly put in some scaffolding that can block majority for someone or keep them from building out on their vault. All these actions are being done in your 3 actions. That's it. That's it for me, Marty. I'm placing tiles. I'm doing orders. I'm placing builders. I'm trying to get area control. And I'm getting my butt handed to me by you in this game.
Yeah, so there's a stack of tiles.
Mm-hmm.
And on the table, you put out 3 of the tiles on their order side, 3 on their vault side. And as soon as you take one of the vault tiles and place it, the order tile that's above it, placed above it, flips over to its vault side in its place, and you draw a new tile off the stack and put it down on its order side. Why is that important? Because you can see, for example, man, I really need a red tile. Oh, that tile, that order tile will be a red tile once it's flipped. I'm going to place the one that's beneath it. If it's green, maybe I don't really need it out there so that the red one can flip down into its place. Then I can claim it, place it, and for my 3rd action, put a builder down on top of it. Mm-hmm. So I like that part of the strategy of the order tile flipping over to its vault side when the vault tile that's beneath it gets claimed.
Also on these order tiles, even if you take the order, the other player, depending on the type of order, may also do an order and pay you a coin.
Yep.
But you only have one of them. So you have to balance that. Like, do I really want to give Marty that coin so that I can do that special order action? Now he's got 2 of them, and I'm going to be shut out later.
Yeah, so these coins you each start with 1 coin.
One? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then basically you're kind of trading them back and forth. So you need to be careful when you want to give that coin away. Because if I give the coin to Tony, then all of a sudden he's sitting with 2 and I've got nothing. And maybe he hoards those till he really, really wants to do an action, especially maybe right before scoring. Because as Tony mentioned a while ago, there are some vaults that have crown icons on them. And when a crown icon comes down into play, you're going to move the queen on the victory point track. When the queen gets to the 10, 20, and 30 spot of the victory point track, play stops, and you immediately do scoring. Scoring is very easy. You're going to look at the different contiguous areas of the same color. Whoever has the most builders in that area will score points for that. We didn't mention, Tony, one of the orders that you can take is to promote your builders. Maybe you can give them a promotion to where this builder counts as 2 population, or this builder will double the scoring of the area that he controls at the end. That also is the trigger of an end of a game too, because once she gets to the 3rd scoring, you'll score and the game will end at that point.
Simple game.
It is a very simple game, and that is really all there is to it, which is nice, which is what I like in 2-player 30-minute games. The setup is nothing. You just basically got to shuffle and stack all the tiles.
The big difference, I think, from the 2010 version and this version is wood pieces were added for the builders. You have, the 5 wood builders that you have in your area, as well as the score tracking was adjusted. So when you flip the tile, it goes on the other side of the board.
Oh, we didn't mention, after the queen scores, the 2 rows that are closest to the tiles where you pull the tiles from are removed from the game, and the rest of the board is shifted down. And also you take back all of your builders off the board, and all the scaffolding is removed.
So you have to have a lot of strategy there.
Yep.
It's a competition of course it's a competition. It's a board game. That's the stupidest thing. Well, it's not the stupidest thing I've ever said in 10 years on this show.
The stupidest thing in 10 years? All right, comment below. Oh, you can't comment below. Is that really the stupidest thing Tony has said in 10 years?
No, nowhere near. It's not even in the top 10.
Can somebody go through the archives and find the stupidest thing that he and I have said over the past 10 years?
Wow. That would be, I would not do that. I would. So
that should be our 10-year poll. We have a bunch of quotes that people find. Which of these is really the stupidest thing we've ever said?
I'm not even going to go try to find that to create that poll.
Sorry, Basilica. Yes.
Basilica. So for strategy, when you play these games, there's always that strategy of how do I want to influence the grid? Because you've got those 3 actions, and you've got to think, if I flip this one over to help build the area and place a builder, I'm setting Marty up for his area that he's going. How can I place one that possibly, because there are wilds, these wild cards have 2 colors on them, and they count to both colors. So you have to strategically think, how do you want to place these to possibly help you with the influence somewhere? Very important part of this is, I don't want him to have that order. Do I want to go ahead and sacrifice placing this tile out here so that order gets flipped because I know he could use it? Mm-hmm. This is all part of that strategy of the game that you're sitting there trying to figure out the puzzle. Mm-hmm. What do you want to do? Where do you want to, do you really want to just place out 3 tiles and no builders at this time? Maybe that's a really good strategy, but wait, are these crowns going to come up, and maybe I want to force a scoring at this time?
And that's what I was doing, Tony. I was trying to find the order tiles that had the crowns on them, and get the other ones cleared so I could, maybe on my turn, I would realize that the queen is maybe 4 spots away from scoring. So I know there's no way it can score on your turn. And I'll try to manipulate it to where I can make sure the queen scores on my turn. So I'd have the last chance to place a builder and maybe take control of a large area.
The only thing about this game that I think might be missing, but it's on purpose, is me being able to take your builders off. And I was kind of frustrated with that.
There is a way, though, to remove a vault from the map, which we would do to each other to try to decrease the influence, or possibly break up a large area and then maybe block it with another color or another scaffolding. Have we mentioned the wilds, the dual color?
Yes, I just did.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you can't place those side by side.
Can't place this with, and also if 3 of them show up in the tile rack or the next to be placed, those get wiped.
And there was times when I was stuck. I was wanting to get rid of a wild tile, but there was no place I could put it because it would have been beside another existing wild. That actually happened a couple times.
Mm-hmm. So now you're thinking, well, that's wasting an action. What am I going to do? And placing your builders, you only have 5 of them, so you may want to pull them back to see how you can do other scoring. And then, and this was poor playing on my part, allowing you such a large area. That really influenced the game.
Mm-hmm.
So Basilica, Portal Games, they brought it back 2022. If you need a good 2-player game, a quick strategy game, easy setup, amazing pieces, amazing insert into it. Don't know if it will hold up if it's sitting on its side or hang. It did okay on my shake test.
You did a shake test. It the stuff stood in place. Yeah.
I would say give this a trial, especially if you enjoy the tile games. Now, you asked me on the vlog, would Donna like this? And she loves her tile games. No, she does not like the area control.
Okay.
That's why we never play the farmers in the field for Carcassonne. She doesn't like that aspect of the game.
Got it. Vanessa and I are recording this segment right after Thanksgiving because we had a very successful time with mine and Vanessa's family, eating a lot of great food and playing a lot of great games.
Do you know how you measure success after Thanksgiving?
Oh, wow. No, I don't. This is going to be quotable. Here we go.
Did you have to unbutton your pants?
I have not heard that. That's good.
Well, I just made it up because I did.
Oh, listen, that is a Vanessa
It might be
original.
out there, but everybody talks about that, about having to unbutton your pants.
I know,
I
but
better undo my pants.
I've never heard that as a measurement of success. That's pretty good.
I just thought it worked.
Okay.
How do you measure success of games?
Okay, how's that? Whether you win or lose? Yeah, baby.
No, never.
Oh.
Shut your mouth. Did you have fun?
If I
Did you
won,
engage
yes.
with people?
Oh.
Yeah, so Marty is all about got a win-win, and I'm all about enjoy the experience. Oh, don't say that. Oh, that's a whole nother Remember that, listeners, because we need to have a whole other podcast. Me and our boys and Tony and Mark Kell and Nate and anyone else, because they know at the end of a game, Marty will be all, I'm losing. I got to think. And then he pulls it, I want to say right out of his back pocket instead of the other place. He pulls out something right out of the back pocket. Oh, I can do this. I can win. I'm sorry, that's another podcast. I digress.
That was a squirrel moment right there, y'all.
That was a squirrel.
All right, so we're going to be talking about a couple brand new games that we got. We got to play a lot of different things, but there's two that are brand new that we got to check out. The first one is a party game from Repo Productions, who you may know is making So Clover. And Just
love
One. Yeah, which we actually played So Clover.
And Just One.
That's right. We played both of them. Wow. So when it comes to party games, they know how to do it. And this is from designer Casper Lapp, and it's called Fun Facts.
Fun facts. Have you already told everyone that my brother and his family came up?
I said your family, but I didn't say who. So
okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's my brother, his wife, and my two nieces, and they all love games. And they played a lot of games with us over Thanksgiving. So actually, the night they came in, our 11-year-old niece pulled out Just One. They brought it with them and said that was her favorite game. And she's like, I want to play this. I want to play this.
It's good.
So we started as soon as they walked in the door, and it continued until they walked out.
And since then, we've been playing So Clover like crazy with the family and everything like that. We just love that game.
Oh yeah. Well, since then, what you mean?
I'm sorry. Since So Clover, wow, Marty, use words. Since So Clover came out.
You didn't unbutton your pants, and all of that was squished in, and it affected your brain.
Yeah, that's
to where
it.
if you let it loose, it just whew, and your brain can think freely.
We played Just One a lot, but it seems like it's been replaced with So Clover recently.
I love So Clover. Love it. Love it. We play it with everybody that comes in, and everybody loves it.
Mm-hmm.
It is so funny, though, how with our family, how we tend to, you understand your family.
Right.
Yeah, and pick up on things.
Yeah, it's like.
Wait a minute. Now, this might be another squirrel moment.
boy,
are
here
we
we go.
reviewing So Clover? Because we're not, are we?
Well, go ahead. What's your little squirrel moment
Yeah,
here?
let's do a little bit of squirrel on So Clover. So this is just an example. We don't even know where it came from, but my younger brother Bob had crazy words he had to put together, and I forgot what they were. I think it was stud, STUD, and berries, BERRIES.
Uh-huh.
And immediately when he put his card down and I looked,
Oh my God.
he had the word Bostwick on top of it. And I said, wait, was that it? Oh, I said, these two go together because there was a Barry Bostwick. And his face was stone cold. And you were like, was he a stud? And I was like, yeah, I don't know. But he was popular back in the 80s. And after we revealed everything, I think we got every one of those right. And they were bizarre. Bob started dying laughing. He said, I don't even know why I put that. And he said, I just thought Vanessa might pull that out of the air.
And somehow I said, what, did you have a thing for Barry Bostwick growing up?
No, I don't even know what he played in. But it's a clever name, Barry Bostwick.
Sure.
So clever is fantastic.
The clue was stud and Bostwick, and you had to put them together to get the word Barry.
Yes, that was it. I thought it was berries.
It may have been, but still.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Anyway. Fun facts. Fun facts. Vanessa thinks Barry Bostwick is a stud. All right.
No, I do not.
All right. So in this game, fun facts. Everybody's given basically a little marker and a little plastic piece to write a number on. And a fact is going to be listed out. And you're going to write a number from 0 to 100. And what you're going to do is everybody's going to put down, like say the first player will put down their piece face down on the table. The next person will decide, based on this question, do I think what I wrote will be higher or lower than that person? Mm-hmm. The next person goes, and then they get to put theirs. Well, do I think I'm going to be higher than both of those, lower than both of those, or maybe in the middle?
But it's not necessarily a fact that is written. It's a statement, and you have to answer where you would fall in that statement.
Yeah. We'll give a good example.
Here's the example.
There we go.
If you were given an all-inclusive vacation on a private island, how long would you stay?
Yes, which was an actual question. And we said, all right, some of these we had to put units on. Let's say we're going to answer this in days.
Yeah, this one was days.
Yeah, so we just picked the units is what I'm getting to, because somebody might say weeks, somebody said we just all collectively said use days for this.
Yeah.
So I put down like 14 days, but I secretly put that down.
Yeah. All of them are in secret.
And then you would put down after me, say, for example, and you would think, well, do I think I'll be higher or lower than Marty? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then what we do is go around the table, and then we reveal one at a time, starting at the lowest. Mm-hmm. And what we do is we reveal the lowest, and then we reveal the next one. If it's higher than the previous one, excellent, we keep on going. But if we reveal one and it's lower than the previous, we take it out of the list. Mm-hmm. And we resolve each one like that. And then we get a point for every one that we got right.
I like this one because it's the same as Clover, to where you're playing with each other to see if you can get better.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you're playing collectively to see if you can score better.
But it's also one of those really cool conversational pieces where...
this one, absolutely.
Where I was stunned that your answer was like 3 days, 4 days. It was super low. I knew I was going
to be at the bottom. Yeah. I would stay on a private island 4 days max.
I was like 14. I'm like, why?
I thought you were more than 14.
I think it was 2 weeks. I put 2 weeks.
Somebody had 3 months. I want to be around people. I don't want to be there by myself.
Well, maybe I'm going to be there.
I want to be around people. Give me some people.
So that's an example of one. We had another one too. It was like...
and it said private. So you're the only one.
Well, I was thinking private mean nobody else would be there except maybe your family and friends.
Did it say family and friends?
Oh my God. It did not say family and friends.
There you go.
All right. So here's one that we actually ended up testing. How long can you stand on one foot?
I loved that question.
And so we said everybody answer in seconds.
Uh-huh.
And then everybody put down their answer.
No. We answered in minutes.
No, I think it was seconds, wasn't it?
Yeah. Because going to my niece. So Valley is very athletic. She plays volleyball, and she guessed that she could stand for 3 minutes.
Okay.
So we did answer in minutes.
I don't know. I put 45 seconds.
You might have put 45 seconds.
Because I remember she had to calculate 60 times whatever it was.
Yeah. I can't remember what I put. I think I put 1 minute.
Yeah.
So after it was all over, some of us tested it. Valley tested it, I tested it, and you tested it.
Yep.
I can't remember. Oh, and Cara did too, my sister-in-law. And y'all stayed a long time. I went for 3 minutes and then I got bored. I had to go find people.
Hey, I stayed longer than I thought.
I would not do very well on the Beast.
I didn't think I would make a
that
minute.
YouTube channel.
And I was on there like 3 to 4 minutes. I was
so we all guessed lower than what we could actually do.
And the thing is, though, we usually quit because we got tired, not because we lost our balance. See, I thought I would just lose my balance and tip
I'm
over.
Really
it's like
tired and bored
calf,
of standing here.
My calf is tired.
So that's what Valley had. Valley guessed that she could do it for 3 minutes. She stood for 12 minutes on one foot.
Wow. Well, yep, she did. So fun facts. I mean, that's the type of things you're going to be playing. It plays 4 to 8 players, plays in like 30 minutes. It moves quick. You'll play probably a couple games.
Yeah, and you're right. It's great conversation starters for family and friends. It was a compact box, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, it was a small box.
Okay, yeah.
Like So Clover and the others. Yep.
Really, really enjoyed that game.
Yeah, so we're putting that right beside Just One, So Clover, and Fun Facts. Fun Facts is probably the easiest to teach of them all. Because it's literally just write down what you think the answer is.
Yeah, well, write down the answer for yourself.
Yes.
And then when you look around at everyone else, you try to guess where your answer would fall into that.
Now, I will say we threw out some questions because you almost knew each other too well. One of them was like, how many bathrooms does your house have?
Oh, yeah,
and
or
we
how
knew
many rooms, yeah.
Or we knew the answer to everybody. So it's like, throw that one out.
Yeah. Now, did you tell everyone? So you're scored by how many answers you got, you guessed correctly in a row.
Right.
Of the number or scale
of the
what
sequence.
It would be. Yeah.
And then at the end, depending on the number of players that played, it'll tell you how well that you did in a scale. Yeah. And then we try to play again to beat that.
And as we were flipping, there were several that we got all of them. And we were all like, come on. Yeah, we got them all. Now, along that lines of everyone yelling at the cards and raising their arms and come on, go, come on. And just an exciting experience was the horse betting game.
Ready, set, bet.
Ready, set, bet. We had a ball with that game. Now, we played this Thanksgiving night after we ate.
This game is 2 to 9 players, plays 45 to 60 minutes from designer John D. Clare, and I'm a real big fan of his, and this is from publisher AEG. Now, in this game, the theme is really simple. All of us are betting on horses, and the person with the most money after 4 races wins. That is literally it.
And we played with, did we play with 9 people or 8?
We played with 9. I was the 9th person running the races, and the other 8 betted.
Okay.
So that's why they have 9 listed.
Yeah.
So there's a board where you're going to put your horses. Your horses are numbered based on a 2d6 dice. The numbers 2 and 3 are combined together on one horse. The numbers 11 and 12 are combined together on one horse. And then every other number, 3 through 10, have their own horse.
And their little track, it's a pretty neat board.
And the race is really simple. I, as the one controlling the race, would roll 2 dice. And let's say a 6 came up, I would move that horse 1 space. And this is all happening real time. So I'm just rolling dice, moving horses. And then y'all, as the players, are looking at this big betting board. And there's a lane for each of the horses to where you can place bets. They'll either be bet to where they're going to win, place, or show.
Right.
And place means coming first or second. Show means first, second, or third. So as you're watching in real time, these horses rate each other. Y'all have tokens range from 2 to 5 that you can place on one of the bets. And that's basically a multiplier. And once you place a bet, nobody else can go in that space.
Right. And once the horses came to a certain line, no more bets could be placed.
At the no bet line, once the third horse crossed the no bet line, no more bets can be placed. And then you're just watching till the end to see who actually wins.
Unless... Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, you mean like special abilities?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was going to throw that in later. So this is played over 4...
Throw it in now.
Over 4 rounds. After the first round, everybody gets a card that gives them a special ability. One of those is they can place their bets after the no betting line's been passed. But a lot of them were, here's an extra chip for placing more bets. Right. There were a lot like that.
Yeah. I never used anything. Well, I did use one thing extra. Now I can't remember what it was. Some of them were really great, and people were really racking up on those extra cards.
I can't remember what yours was. Anyway, what that does is add some variability to the game.
Yeah.
And you keep those cards as you go. So every round or every race, you get like an extra ability to make it even better. But there's also other things you can bet on the board. At the beginning of each race, you deal out cards at the top of the board that will have some sort of conditions. Hey, while you're watching this race, if you think all blue horses, a couple blue horses, beat all the red horses, a couple of red horses, then place a bet here. And if you do, you'll win some money. And so those are variable each race. Those conditions can change. And then at the bottom is another set of cards for doing some additional bets that stay out for every race. So it's not just win, place, or show. There's some other side bets that you can make as the race is happening.
I do remember this. I don't know if you remember this. So everyone really got into it. Like it took us maybe one or two betting rounds, and then everybody's like, "All right, we got the hang of this."
Yeah. Well, after the first race, I thought, man, nobody's really having fun because nobody's saying anything.
We were thinking we were concentrating,
but by the third race, yeah,
we were hooping and hollering and standing up. I felt like I was at the racetrack. Mm-hmm. But we said we're looking at these horses, and it would be nice if we could see what the number of the horse was. Maybe we might better mention that on the review.
So the tokens have a number on one side of the horse and not the other.
I don't know, the way that we were standing and looking.
We were standing the horse straight up, so you only saw the horse from the front and not the back.
And Marty went, huh? And he picked it up and turned it around, and we were all like, there's the number.
No. You lay them down so the number's facing up.
That's right. They were laying dead. That's right. Marty had them upside down. That was hilarious.
That was good. So, so now if you think about what's the big deal of the rolling 2d6s, because odds come into place. If you're rolling 2d6s, the most common number rolled is 7. Mm-hmm. So more often than not, 7's going to be in the top 3, but they don't pay out as much as like the 2 and 3 horse.
And I wish we'd written down, because I don't think ours came out that way. Like it was a game where we didn't get 7s a whole lot.
We did get 7 and up there. 6 and 8 is the next most common.
Yeah, I remember 2 and 3.
Oh, and what's interesting too is if you roll the same number twice in a row, they get a boost.
Yes,
they get to move a little bit further. It doesn't happen with 7, but if the 2 or 3 was rolled 2 times in a row, they move like an extra 3 or 4 spaces and jump to a big lead.
Yeah, and there's probably other ones we're forgetting. There's all kind of hidden little things like that in the game that made it really, really neat.
So you drop these tokens on the board, and once the race is resolved, you go to each horse. Let's say, hey, here's the horse that won. Oh, this person placed a 2 chip, and on the times 5 space, 2 times 5 will give you $10. Mm-hmm. And we pay out. Mm-hmm. If, let's say, you placed a bet on a horse that didn't win, if the place that you placed a bet has a negative number, you actually lose money and have to pay that back to the bank.
Yeah. And my sister-in-law was the banker. We told her she had a little visor over there, and she was dealing out money. Did she end up winning? I think she did.
I think she may had. And so the goal is, so after the first race, you reset everything, give everybody back their chips, a new ability, some new side bets come out, and you start all over again. After 4 races, count up your money. Person with most money wins.
Yeah. And it really played pretty fast.
They say 45 to 60, but it's a game that moves quick. Mm-hmm. I will say this. We all talked about this. The race moves quick and is fun. What slows down with 8 players is resolving all the bets.
Yeah.
That did take a little bit of time, because not only do you have to pay for the ones that bet correctly on the horses, you have to go through each losing horse and see who lost money. Mm-hmm. So it takes a while to resolve that, especially with that number of players. Mm-hmm. But the actual racing part moves pretty quick and is really exciting.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I didn't mention is, let's say I wanted to play next time and we only had 8 players.
Well, how can you do that, Marty?
Because there is an app that AEG has put out that will run the race for you.
Yeah, we need to try it with the app.
I didn't install the app, but I saw a picture of it. Basically, there's the track, and 2 dice are rolled, and they just occasionally just move a horse, and then you just play together. And then once a horse crosses the finish line, the app will stop and say, okay, here's who won, place, and showed, and then you resolve the bets from there. So you don't have to have somebody running the race if you don't want to.
And there's a line where once
the no betting line?
Yeah. Yep. Once all the horses pass it.
No, once the third horse.
Once the third horse passes it, no more bets. But all the horses are still racing until one horse touches the finish line.
Right.
And then that's when the race ends.
And that's where the exciting part comes in, because then everybody's just watching it. Come on, number 6. Yes. Come on, number 6.
Yeah. Because you stop that betting and you're just looking, and very exciting. Yeah. That was a good game.
Yeah, this was actually.
And that played from age.
Well, it says here 14 plus.
I can't remember if Valley played that when our nephew Connor, your sister's son, played.
He's older than 14. And his sister played, who was like 12 or 13.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Autumn. So from 13 to your dad.
Yep.
So we had 13 to
70 something.
Yeah.
And everybody
was a great range.
And what I love about it is,
your dad was funny. He didn't like paying his money out.
Oh man, he didn't. He was like, "Dad, gummit." So some of the spots you didn't have to pay anything if you lost, but those might not have been as sweet of spots to go to. So what's fun is you're racing to get your bet in before somebody else does. Because I said, once you take a spot, and nobody else can claim it.
That caused lots of issues. It was like, I blinked and you took it.
Yeah, I remember one time it was like 2 people went there and y'all had a fight over who got there first, who got there first. And I'm just sitting there rolling the dice.
We need a referee. That was great.
What I love about it is thematically, it just makes so much sense. We're at a horse track. We're placing bets, try to win money.
Yep.
Very easy to follow.
Yeah. That was a great game.
Yeah. Ready, set, bet. Man, that was 2 really good new games that came out for the holidays.
Very, very good. That Ready, Set, Bet would be one that I can picture people at Gen Con or Origin. Someone's playing that over in the corner and they start hooping and hollering and everybody starts looking, what game are they playing?
Yep. And all of us were standing around. You almost got to stand around the table.
Oh, you do.
So you can reach across and put your chips down.
Yeah. We were all standing around.
Yeah. That was good. Whew. So that was just 2 of the mini games that we got to play.
We played a lot.
Yeah. Introduced you to Sagrada. I might have to get a copy of that for you.
Oh, no, that you definitely have to get a copy. I enjoyed holding the dice and looking at the dice in the light.
And rolling dice.
And rolling the dice and building my little stained glass window.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big hit for
that's
Tony
a beautiful game.
Yeah,
That's a beautiful game.
It is. All right, y'all. That is no, it's not just facts. It's just one so clever. Fun facts.
Fun facts.
Is this one. And Ready, Set, Bet. Both play like up to 8 players and are really good big group games.
Party on.
Garth.
Oh, I thought that was Bill and Ted. What did Bill and Ted say? Excellent. Barry Bostwick.
Stud. Barry Bostwick. A lot of our listeners have been ordering a lot of things from Miniature Market, and on Discord they've talked about, I've ordered stuff, but man, it is just taking a while to get there. And I understand the frustration and everything, and so does Miniature Market, because what they've done is they've moved to new warehouse and has doubled their warehouse space. And like as of this recording, just recently they've put out an update, and they're saying, we apologize. We know that stuff have not been coming out as quickly as possible. We're in the warehouse now. It's double the size. They've hired 30 new warehouse workers who are getting up to speed on the Miniature Market systems and everything. They've added a second shift for the first time ever for organizing the inventory and doing your pulled orders all day long. So what's that mean? Keep an eye on their website. Make sure that you're seeing updates and stuff. But as of now, they're really ramping up support for their new warehouse so they can go back to getting you items just as quickly as they promised. I know that frustration is there. Hey, I ordered something. I want it in my hand now. They're doing the best that they can. So hopefully if you've gotten your orders in before now, you've gotten some good updates. They'll be in pretty quickly. If you ordered your stuff by December 4th, they have guaranteed it will be there by Christmas. So once again, hopefully if your faith's been a little bit shaken in Miniature Market, things are getting up to speed. They're trying to invest in their infrastructure and facilities to make sure they can support you. To find out more and check out all their great sales, head over to miniaturemarket.com. I was excited over Thanksgiving to have a chance to play a lot of Arkham Horror with Vanessa's brother, Bob, who is up from Mississippi. Now, I've probably talked about Bob before in the past, I believe, on the show. You're a big Arkham Horror, the card game fan, correct?
I'm a fan of everything Arkham Horror, card game especially. I've been on the show once or twice, but I was very excited for us to play like this over the holidays. This is the first time I've ever played an entire campaign in just a couple of days.
Let's see, we started on, was it Wednesday? Tuesday?
I think it was Wednesday, the night before.
Yeah, and then we finished the entire campaign Saturday morning.
So just over the course of those 4 days. Now, I believe it was back in 2019, I was able to go to Arkham Nights.
Yes.
In Minnesota, and there they run a campaign they call the Iron Man, where they go through an entire campaign in 1 day. Wow. They'll do a different campaign or whatever. So I thought that was just impossible. This felt like it to me. We took 4 days, and it was a little grueling to constantly set up and redo and set up and redo. But it was so satisfying by the end.
It was. And what I loved about this was we'd actually talked about playing Scarlet Keys, which just came out right now, to talk about something new on the show. But you and I had neither of us had played Edge of the Earth, which came out about a year ago. And I was excited to play this because this is the new campaign with the new format where everything comes out at once with a nice spiral bound book for the scenario and the campaign and everything. I love this format. Never go back to what it was before.
You could just tell just by the material in it, the spiral bound campaign book, like you said, just the visuals of that and how just going through and opening it and holding it, it felt different. It felt more epic.
It's
honestly
better than the sheets that came with
Absolutely.
the expansion. And then you have to keep up with all those sheets and sort them and everything. So
yes. So even if you're only getting one campaign a year, or I think at most they would put out 2 a year, it's worth the wait to do that because it comes out just in such an epic box. And then to be able to go through it like this, I'd say it was the perfect format, especially for this type of campaign.
This is the first time they've broken up into 2 releases. So you have the Investigator expansion and the campaign expansion. So if you're not interested in the new Investigators, you could just buy this scenario or the campaign itself, or vice versa. It's like, I just want some more Investigators, but don't need a new campaign. So I appreciate they split those out too.
Yeah, just like you, I got the Edge of the Earth campaign and the Investigator sets when they came out. They didn't come out at exactly the same time, but just within a few weeks of each other, and it was around a year ago. And I had not opened the campaign expansion at all. I'd pulled out some of the Investigator cards, so this was the first time for both of us even opening that box and looking at those components.
What a well-designed campaign that when we finished, we said we can easily replay this again and it'd be a totally different experience because there's optional quests or scenarios inside the campaign that we just skipped over.
I think every campaign they've ever had is going to have a slightly different path. I made choice A instead of choice B, or I did that. But this was massive. You could have an entirely different story. So many choices, so many quests. Even as we played it, I think there were 2 or 3 scenarios that we didn't even play based on the choices that we made. I know we could go back and replay those and it would change everything.
Yeah, it would. And what was really cool too, so let's see, without spoiling anything, this is based off the story of Mountains of Madness from H.P. Lovecraft. It's like this happened after the story there, and the same people who led that expedition want to go back to Antarctica and revisit it. What was really cool is you have an expedition team that goes along with you, and there are these other characters that are referenced throughout the story that become a part of your party. And to me, the story was so well laid out. I followed the story very well from beginning to end. And I don't know if you've played the Dream Eaters campaign. That one is mind-blowing because half of it takes place in a dream world, and half of it's in a real world.
Right.
And it was hard to keep up what was going on. I really liked the linearity and how this story was told much better than Dream Eaters.
And it's not like it was a simple story either. It was just laid out and presented in such a way that you could follow it. If you follow H.P. Lovecraft's writing and you're familiar with At the Mountains of Madness, if this were a book or a movie, it would be a direct sequel.
Yes.
That happened. We have the information, and another expedition leaves from Miskatonic University. No spoilers here. You, as the player, are part of this expedition, but you get to know a lot of the, I guess what we would call NPCs that are in here that have a much bigger role than just a normal ally or side character in other scenarios and campaigns.
And what was so cool about those other NPCs, different things happened to them throughout the campaign. And depending on what happened to them, drove the story. So that's why I said replayability. You were to play this again, different things would happen to different NPCs in a different manner, which would totally drive the story a different way. And depending on who was with you and who had left or whatever, you may have access to things or benefits or boons or even debuffs that might happen because somebody's not there. If we sat down and played it again, the outcome would be totally different.
That's exactly right. I said a few times, this is just like a choose your own adventure story from middle school, but it's on steroids.
And what a clever way, what I'm so impressed by this game is using cards for maps. And there were some really cool maps that we got to play this. Well, that was another thing too. One of the branching storylines is like, which path do you want to take? And depending on the path, the map was different.
Yeah, that scenario, I think, had 5 different map setups, all very, very different, based on which path you're taking in your exploration. And then in other scenarios, different components of the game were used in totally unique ways. Like the physical game pieces were used in unique ways to create other stuff. So it's almost like the designer said, here's what we have in one box. Mm-hmm. How many different ways can we use it to do exciting and crazy new stuff in this adventure?
And what's so cool is if you have never played this, literally with a core set, which is required for all campaigns, a core set in this one box here, Edge of the Earth, you could have a full game experience. No, you wouldn't have access to all the really cool cards. Like we use Arkham DB for like looking and helping build decks. Sure, you couldn't build some of the really awesome decks they have out there, but that doesn't matter. With just core set and this, you could be up and running.
But we did play with investigators from this set, from the Edge of the Earth. So when you look at the investigator cards from the Edge of the Earth investigator pack, and then you do this adventure and you would assume you have to have a core box, I bet 80% of my deck could have come from the core box and the expansion.
Yeah, for sure. And in fact, whenever I play a campaign, I always pick one of the new investigators. I always make myself pick one of the new ones. So when I open up Scarlet Keys, I'll probably pick one from there too. Yeah, I tell you, Edge of the Earth, I can't believe we knocked it out in 3 or 4 days. I thought, man, are we going to get finished with this? And the ending of it was super exciting. We had, God, I wish I could say what happened, but I can't. It was just stuff like, are we done? Oh, no, we're not done. Stuff is still happening sort of deal. And then we successfully saved the Earth, so everyone listening can thank us.
You're welcome.
They're still around. Yeah,
you're welcome for that, world and cosmos. I would say
that's true.
Absolutely.
If not for us, you wouldn't be listening to this today. So, thanks so much for going on this journey with me. This was a blast.
I'm exhausted, man. I'm gonna need 2 days of rest after 4 days of campaigning, but it was all worth it.
And who knows? Maybe coming up soon, maybe we can get together sometime again and try to drudge through Scarlet
Keys. Maybe this summer we'll update on the Scarlet Keys campaign.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. All right, y'all. Again, Arkham Horror, the card game, still one of my favorite games of all time.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. The other night, I reached out to Tony and said, hey, you want to play a game on your new PC? Sure. What you want to play? You want to play Starcraft? Let's play Starcraft. Thank you so much for playing. I haven't played Starcraft in forever, and that was so much freaking fun. Pulling up Starcraft Remastered and Starcraft 2 and playing again.
It was fun after we tried to play Starcraft 1 and lost within 10 minutes.
All right. So, okay, here's what we did, y'all. So we typically in our past games, we would play co-op. We would team up together and play against the AI. I could have sworn, and trying to think back on this, Tony, I think when we did this, we could set the difficulty level of the AI back in the original game. Am I just remembering that wrong? I said I looked it up and you couldn't. But later that night, I was sitting there thinking, wait, when you and I and Ed used to play together, it seems like we would go, okay, let's go against 2 easy AI opponents. Okay, we beat them. Let's go against 2 normal. Okay, we beat them. Add a 3, make 3 of them easy, then maybe 2 easy, 1 normal. Did we not do stuff like that?
That has been so long ago. I have no idea. I can't remember. I do remember winning. I do remember defending against a Zerg rush. I also remember we would always select to play against probably Terran. And while you would do Protoss and I would do Zerg, I remember doing that. But I could not remember the AI. I just know that when we were playing, and we looked at the resources and the builds and things when we got wiped, we were like, how is it doing it this fast? Mm-hmm. I'm like, I think it's the computers. I don't think the computers are, back then definitely they weren't as good. So maybe that's how we won.
The computers weren't, you mean the AI wasn't as good?
No, I'm saying the processing speed. Maybe they couldn't.
They would slow that down. They wouldn't do, that would be silly. That means depending on the machine that you would play, it would get easier on older machines. No, they wouldn't do it like that. It's based on time, a slice of time, not how fast it's processing.
I don't know. All I know is that it was over within first 10 minutes.
It was ridiculous. So I was wanting to play the classic because I remember how all the stuff worked. So we stopped playing that, cranked up. Both of us installed StarCraft 2. I realized I forgot I uninstalled it. In that, you can adjust the AI. You and I did 2 versus 2 easy, and we handled that one pretty easily. It's just that there's more units, different types of units and buildings in StarCraft 2 that I need to go back and relearn.
Yeah, and how the buildings worked, because you could add things onto the building that you really didn't get in StarCraft. It's been forever.
But it was so much fun. So much fun. And I made sure on StarCraft 2 to have the sound track the original StarCraft soundtracks. And I played Terran, and I was just like jamming to the old Terran tunes and stuff like that. So nostalgic, so much fun. So over the next few nights, I kept messaging Tony, we'll play a game, and he wouldn't even read my message. So,
dude, I got in so much trouble. I told somebody I would be gone for an hour, and I was gone for 2.5.
Well, she's watching TV and stuff. I didn't get in trouble. Vanessa's like, yeah, I can have a good time.
Well, that's because there's a difference. I mean, and you said when you're done watching True Bloods, it's Blue Bloods.
Are you sure it's not True Blood? Oh, True Blood's the vampire one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
When you're done, yeah, like I'm watching that. All right. I noticed that somebody has this big box sitting in their studio. I guess that's your new neoprene map for War of the Ring.
Oh, you see that over there in the corner?
Mm-hmm, I do.
Yeah, so I ordered that. Gosh, when did it go on pre-order? It's been a long time. But yeah, I haven't even opened it, but I know there's a nice canister in there, a big War of the Ring map. I've played it once since I've owned this thing. I love neoprene mats. It may sit in that canister forever and never get used again, but if I ever get a chance to play it again, or Nate says, okay, I'll come back and teach you guys again how to play, I've got the nice neoprene mat for it now.
It always makes a big difference. It makes a difference on game night. I know that. Now, we don't need maps when we break open the Switch, and we were discussing about it, but big news from Oink Games in their release of Let's Play Oink Games. Your favorite card game, Scout, is coming to that platform.
So there's a bunch of different games on there. So right now they currently have, for the Switch, This Face, That Face, Startup, Fake Artist, Deep Sea Adventure, In a Groove, Moon Adventure, and Fair? I don't know that one. Anyway, so at the end of December, they're supposed to be adding Scout. Now this is going to support local play, online play. And so Scout would be one of those I think it'd be fun just to kind of crank up, get with people maybe on Discord or something like that and play. It's like $22 for this thing. I've got it on my wish list. My hope is over the next couple months with Christmas and everything, maybe it'll go on sale and I'll grab it when it does that.
Well, maybe I'll be able to crank up the old Switch and play Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with you sometime too.
Well, that's what I messaged you the other night about. It's like, we could play Shredder's Revenge, and you just didn't even look at the message. So
I didn't even hear the message. What are you talking about? I got on now and said, oh, I'm ready to record. Oh, you sent a message last night. I don't keep my phone near me. You know me. I go into a cave. I was probably sitting in here playing Guild Wars 2 when you messaged.
Well, then why don't you message me when you do that? Hey, are you around? I'm playing Guild Wars. I go, oh, let me go get on.
I'm on for like 10, 15 minutes. I blame you for this because I'm going out there getting my hero points. And then the other day we went and this big adventure started up where we went and we progressed through this adventure and went and killed this big baddie and this big chest dropped. And I clicked on it and I got all this stuff. And now I had to go process my bags. And then I had some birthday surprise where I dropped this chest and this Jack-in-the-Box showed up. And I was like, what is this crap? And then suddenly I was hitting people with bats. I don't know. They've added a ton of stuff to this. I don't know what luck is for. There's so much.
Wait a minute. Luck's always been there. It's your chance of finding magic items. That's all.
So if I double click on it, then I've got luck for X amount of time.
Those are just taking up your spots. If you're not double clicking on the luck, just double click all those and you'll earn all those. And our karma, any of the karma boosts, just go click on those and they go away. Yeah, same with laurels too. Now keep an eye out. Supposedly they're supposed to have sales on their expansions. I do recommend the latest one, End of Dragons, getting that one, and maybe we could play through that one together because I'm still very early on in that. And once you finish your main story, we could jump over and maybe do that because you earn hero points a lot quicker over there too.
Mm-hmm. And I don't have I thought I had gotten all of them except for End of Dragon, but it shows it's locked on my hero panel that I'm not part of the story, but I think it's because I haven't started the story.
Yeah, as long as you have the option to start and it's in your panel, you're good.
Okay. It just has a little lock feature on it. But
on which one?
It's not the one where you go get the mount.
Oh, so the one before the one before that. I can't even think of the name of it. Yep.
So we'll have to go
Heart of Thorns.
Heart of Thorns. Yep. That's what I was thinking. All right. I also got a big delivery that I haven't been able to get to, and that is a eWin chair that will get rid of a leather chair, make it more comfortable for me. So in our next episode, I'll be talking about that. I just did not get time to put it together, and I hate that because I was looking forward to it, but then I'm heading on vacation, and I can't wait to try this out. So if you're hearing this now, we want to remind you, head over to eWin and pick up that 30% RDTN code. Somebody out there needs a good gaming chair. And it's not a chair to play games on, which you sent me that review on, Marty. This is a chair for you to sit in and play games.
And here's the thing is, it's, again, the site is ewinracing.com. That 30% off is not only for chairs, but for desks too. Anything that you have there, throw it in your cart. And y'all go look at the sales they're running for Christmas and everything. It's not 30%. They've told us you guys have the max code. So if you want to get something, use RDTN and get 30% off.
And Marty loves his cloth chair. I can't wait to do that because I'm working more at home while they deconstruct my building. So I'm very excited about that. Can't wait to try it out. You told me it'd take me 30 minutes to put it together, and I just didn't get to it. I was too busy setting up Christmas lights for my mom.
I understand.
And then get home and get the house ready because my daughter's coming to visit for the holidays, which after the show airs, more holidays are on their way. Mm-hmm. So, and you're not heading to Mississippi. So where are you going for Christmas?
We got family coming in, and we will have done a bunch of gaming. In fact... Pull back the curtain, y'all. My plan is to, in this episode, I would have recorded some stuff with people of some of the games that we played. If it's there, yay, the plan worked. If it's not, oops, we'll talk about it later.
But for those of you listening, you get a big bonus because that's about it. Because from now on, we're going to start rolling some dice.
And taking some names. Hey y'all, thanks for listening. Make sure to come back our next episode for our special 10th anniversary episode. We're going to be giving away a lot of prizes, including our special mystery boxes that we send out to winners. Don't forget to join our Discord channel. And if you want to support the show, you can over at buymeamoonpie.com.
Hey Marty, is
what?
That Christmas time? Do you know why Santa's little helper felt sad?
No. Why did Santa's little helper feel sad?
He had low self-esteem.